I don't want to say that because then what if people are going to see this and they're going to be like, oh my god, who is this entitled bitch like talking about like action?
Very good.
My name is Dóri, and my full name in Hungarian is Dorothea, but it's not something that people in England can properly pronounce.
Dorothea.
In Hungarian, you would say it as Dorottya.
Dorothea.
Yes. And that was really good, actually.
Thank you.
I am from Hungary,
Yeah.
and I am from Budapest, or like outskirts, suburban part of Budapest. I moved to the UK in 2020. At first not to London, but now I'm in London and I'm working here.
So Budapest, are you a city girl?
I am a city girl since I moved here. Whilst I lived in Hungary, I lived a really stereotypical like suburban life. Like I went to school in Budapest. I did like all my extracurriculars in the city center, but then when I went home, it was always like in the outskirts, more of like laid back type of thing. And that was quite painful when I wanted to like go out and have fun, because I always needed to like catch the last bus, which was like around like 11:50 something. So ever since I moved here, I enjoy the options.
Yeah,
and that I can like go home at 3 a.m. or go home at like, I don't know, 2 p.m. and it takes the same amount of effort from my side. So that's good.
I'm a massive advocate for the tube. That is probably makes London the most accessible place. You can go from north to south, east to west. Less west from where I am, but yeah, it's very easy to get around.
Yes, definitely.
So you moved in 2020, so 5 years ago now. It's
Yes.
2025. Oh
yes,
God.
it's crazy.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
In terms of kind of social norms that you've recognised or noticed, have there been any major differences from where you grew up to sort of living in London or even the UK?
People in the UK, in general, are nicer to your face, I think.
Okay.
You know, there's this thing that everyone is saying that in the US, people are like really fake. And there's this whole like fake niceness. In the UK, that's like more of like a toned down version compared to that. In Hungary, if someone is like really, really nice to you, and if they don't know you, people get scared, like, what the fuck do you want from me? Like, why are you so nice? What's your angle? What do you want? But I like the niceness. It just makes things like easier in general.
Me too. I mean, you know what? Fake it till you make it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well be nice.
Yes.
It's nice to be nice.
Yes, and like it doesn't really cost anything. The mentality is a bit different, so therefore people treat each other differently.
What do you mean by that? What's the mentality like over there?
Interesting. In general, I think they are more, not sad, but like, I think they are like angrier due to historical reasons, passed down trauma, current political situations, economy, and all that. And they do not specifically deal with their pain internally, but they just put it out there. So it could be that I go into a store and I want to pay, and the cashier is not going to be like, "Hi, lovely. Oh, the weather is really nice outside. It's like, have an amazing day. That's going to be £20. Thank you. Bye." It's going to be like, "Oh, it's going to be £20. Thanks. Cashier card. Yeah, what do you want?" It's really different. And sometimes when I go back, it's just an interesting shift and I have to get used to it. So...
London in general, well, I don't know if it's London or the UK has gotten a pretty bad rap for being a miserable place to be. So how much do you agree with that, having come from somewhere that seems to be more miserable?
People who say that this is a miserable place, also weather, it has a huge impact on how people feel on a daily basis.
Yes.
And people in the UK love to get away, to go to like Spain or somewhere where, you know, the sun shines more in general. It could be easy to say that London or the UK is a miserable place, but I don't think that it is. But it maybe is because my starting point is somewhere completely different.
You're worse off, yes, where you were from.
I don't want to say that, because then what if people are going to see this and they're going to be like, "Oh my god, who is this entitled bitch like talking about like my hometown, which is like the greatest place on earth?" And there's no problems with Budapest and Hungary in general. It's just maybe I have not managed to find my place there. And therefore I don't think that here it's miserable, even though I can see why people would say that. Also with economy, wages, you can be really happy here if you're wealthy enough to do so.
It's pretty difficult, isn't it? Because obviously, if you've got something worse to compare it with, you're going to be like, what is the fuss about. But I think we actually were named the second most miserable place in the world. The UK. And I think it's got a lot to do with the weather, or the darkness.
Yeah. But then at the same time, as soon as like spring hits, it's so nice to be here.
People do like to complain if it's too hot too.
Yes.
It's like, oh, when is it going to go back to a normal temperature? But then if it's too cold, it's like, oh, when is it going to go back to a normal temperature? It's never perfect.
No, it never is, but it's not perfect like anywhere you go. There's always something to complain about. British people, maybe they just like to complain in general.
Ooh.
And therefore, I mean, it could be like they vocalize what they feel, and when there's something to complain about, everyone jumps onto the occasion. Everyone loves it, whether it's the weather, whether it's, I don't know, like queuing or not queuing.
To queue or not to queue? That is the question.
That is the question.
You said you hadn't really found your place in Budapest. Would you say you found your place in London?
I feel happier when I'm here. So I would say yes. It's interesting because obviously the last time when I full-time lived in Hungary was when I was a student, and I just finished high school, and then I moved here and I went to uni here. So most of my adulting experiences and trying to figure out how to do certain things, how to open a bank account, how to, I don't know, pay a rent, I experienced them here. So I don't even have anything to compare it with other than my younger self experiences from home.
How old are you now?
I'm 23.
You came here as a teen. No?
Yeah, I was 19. Yes.
Fair. Okay. Wow.
So it's, yeah. Sometimes when I go home and my parents and I, we talk about certain things that are going around like there, and whether that be like politics or stuff that they have to deal with, I feel so out of touch. Because I feel like I don't even know how these certain processes go. I would know how to claim some money back from when it comes to, I don't know, my tax that I pay here, but I don't know how that works at home. And like I have my passport from there, so sometimes it's just weird to talk about certain processes and I feel so out of touch.
So do you feel, because you basically adulted in London, in the UK, you said you moved to the UK and then London.
Yeah, I went to Warwick to uni, and then I moved to London.
Okay, fair enough. I don't really have anything to say about Warwick. What did you study?
Business and management with marketing.
How practical?
It is practical. Not the most interesting thing, but I specialized in marketing, and that was really nice because I enjoyed the psychological part of trying to understand what make people purchase certain things and how to, like in an evil way, influence that, obviously. But those were
capitalist, you. When you think of British people, what comes to mind straight away?
Oh, people who are really chatty, but do not necessarily go into details. And they are really nice, but it takes time to get to know them and make them open up. I think Hungarians it's easier and quicker to have meaningful conversations with them.
Okay.
Maybe British people are like more distant in that sense, and they are nicer on the surface and easier to get to know when it comes to like quick chatting. British people are like harder to like crack in the long run.
Harder nuts to crack. And do you think that it differed from when you were in Warwick to when you were in London? Did you notice a difference from being outside of London and inside of London?
Not really, and also hard to compare because Warwick was, I mean, it's a campus uni.
Ah, yes, and everybody's trying to get to know each other, aren't they?
Yes, and when you move out of the campus, then you move to Leamington Spa or Coventry, and it's full of students as well. So you don't really get out of the living in the student bubble.
Did you ever have a moment where you thought, oh, I wish someone told me this before I moved here?
Yes, the weather. But hear me out, I don't think it's as bad as people in the UK perceive it to be. There are countless times when I'm on the phone with my parents and the weather in Hungary is worse than the weather here. Which is, yeah. I wish someone would have told me that 15 degrees here is completely different than 15 degrees like where I'm coming from. I think it's because of humidity, but the way you feel 15 degrees is completely different. And I'm like wearing tank tops and like shorts sometimes, and I got sunburned when it was like 16 degrees in the UK, and I'm not proud of that. And then when it's like 20 at home, and while I was still at school, my mum didn't let me leave the house without like a spring like jacket or something that I can like throw on top.
It feels warmer.
Yes.
In the UK, I suppose.
In the UK, yeah.
Yeah, my sister was saying something very similar. It's like the humidity is quite prevalent.
Yes. It's just I never know how to. It is what it is. I never know how to dress
Yes, and that's just a daily struggle for me. I mean, for everyone. Going out with a handbag full of like an umbrella plus sunglasses, an extra layer if too cold.
Yeah.
That's the daily struggle of a Londoner.
Yeah.
Probably a British person.
Yes, but also the like umbrella, good that you mentioned. The last umbrella that I purchased was like from 3 years ago, and I bought it at like a corner shop for £2. I'm not willing to pay more than £2 for an umbrella in this country because it will get ruined. I can use it like once in every like 10 times when it's raining because it's not going to protect me anyways, and it's so windy that I'm gonna look more of like Mary Poppins and just like fly away whilst holding an umbrella.
A brilliant likeness to Mary Poppins there. British comparisons only. I have fallen into the trap of it being pouring with rain, like bucketing, and being in Camden, and the prices of an umbrella went up. I think I paid £15 for an umbrella, and I don't use it to this day because I think it broke. It pays to be desperate, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does indeed.
It does indeed. I have one final question. Do you think you'll stay in London? Is it like a long-term thing for you?
As of right now, it is a long-term thing to stay in the UK. I really love London, and also I'm quite early at my corporate professional life. As we discussed at the beginning of this whole thing, I quite enjoy the flexibility that comes with living in Central. So I am a city girly right now. I'm really comfortable here. So as of right now, I would say yes, but also who knows what the future brings and
what the future holds. Because you live in Liverpool Street, did you say?
Yes, I live at Shoreditch, yes. Close to Brick Lane and like Spitalfields Market.
In my opinion, that's like living the dream.
It's really nice. The flat that we have, it's on the top floor, which sounds amazing, but I would never want to move on the top floor again. We don't have an elevator, and top floor meaning like the third floor, so it's not like, like the 50th.
It's not like a high rise.
No, it is not, but like there's always something wrong with the ceiling, and it's raining a lot here, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's always like all these shoes that I have to deal with on a daily basis because we live on the top floor. It's just like...
You know who you sound like? You sound like a Brit with all your complaining there.
Well, see, I had to adapt.
Well, to be fair, you have been here since you were a child. So
Yes, but this is why it's so weird to go to Hungary, because I don't feel Hungarian enough, but here I don't feel British enough. Not that I could ever be British, but still, it's...
Well, here's hoping. If I had a glass, I would go, cheers to being hopefully British one day. Would you say that Hungarians are efficient by nature?
I think in general they could be problem solvers, but maybe that could also be just me. But they get things done.
I usually answer those kinds of questions with, well, I can't speak for everyone when I say.
Yeah.
But it's always fun to hear what someone's answer will be. Why don't you say what your favourite thing about Brits are? Who loves London? Who loves